Every time I heard about HIV and AIDS, my heart went into a full-blown negative panic, and stigma fertilized my inability to live positively. I wanted to travel exactly 23.5 degrees south the Tropic of Capricorn every time I heard about cancer, until I became sick. See, it started out as loss of appetite. Maybe I lacked vital vitamins. Loss of sleep made me wish I could make roommates that fly. My body temperature rose. And like Jack, I didn't have a raft to stay afloat. I had hit an iceberg. This bug captured my white blood cells, and plasma must have been watching TV because all I had left was tissues. So sandwiched between constant headaches and dizziness. My heart, right behind the Bugatti Chiron, had left my lungs to play catch-up, or was I experiencing a heart attack? See, I never fancied needles, but I was quite okay to have normalcy injected into my being to suck out the venom that was clearly paralyzing my being. And with every failed test, Doc gave a retake examination as my pupils dilated with the hope that they were the solution, but no. Sparkling water kept escorting antibiotics down my tummy every day as drugs became food, food became drugs. Maybe it was a common cold. Marasmus, gonorrhea. But I hadn't gone nowhere. At that moment, my isolation could be calculated as Madagascar race to the power of Ebola. Every morning felt like Death was no longer interested in playing hide and seek with me. His register clearly had me circled in red, so I thought of slitting my wrist open. Watch as my veins eagerly relieved themselves of 5.5 liters of blood to the earth to suck in the despair that I could no longer stomach what was happening to me. Was the curse of forward this to 20 people or die catching up with me? So I decided to contact my last hope, Dr. Google, and I was diagnosed. I tested positive to a disease called you. See, you were so many things. A disease that made leprosy jealous of how infectious you were. Physical attributes? Tall, dark, and handsome. The weapons of mass destruction. You was the disease that hepatitis A, B, C combined could not match how communicable you were, because I couldn't stop talking to you. How you took my breath away and made me weak to my knees, made me certain that you was a combination of asthma and malaria, maybe a common cold, because I kept running to you. See, you was the disease that hid behind cholera and constipation. The rambling elephant in my stomach was illegal, but I was willing to poach you. My ivory. I was paralyzed with every stroke of word that landed deep in me. You were the teacher, I was the pupil, but I still couldn't see. Until you turned to syphilis. Till you turned to syphilis. So you develop these rashes and memory lapses like, I don't know that girl, I have never seen her before. Clearly she was a seizure, so you fell for her. And I started to look for a medication for you. I couldn't decide to take insulin or ARVs, but I knew I had to swallow. My pride, because I agree. The day had come when the risk to remain tight in a bud was becoming more painful than the risk to blossom. A nice name.